August 1947. A nation is about to be born. Its founding father, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, lands at the new capital, Karachi. Thousands of jubilant Muslims shout, "Pakistan Zindabad! Long live Pakistan!"
I think they were very excited at the idea of getting Pakistan. Economically, they felt they were going to be much better. Secondly, I think they felt that, we would be out of the domination of the Hindus.
In the West, Jinnah is little known, unlike his famous contemporary Mahatma Gandhi. Yet even more than Gandhi, Jinnah shaped the turbulent events which unfolded 50 years ago. Jinnah has been popularly portrayed as the man behind partition, responsible for bloodily tearing the Indian subcontinent apart, most notoriously in the feature film Gandhi.
How do you propose to separate? Where there is a Muslim majority, that will be Pakistan. The rest is your India. My dear Jinnah, the Muslims are in a majority on two different sides of the country. Let us worry about Pakistan. You worry about India.
But is this view of Jinnah and his role in partition correct? Tonight we present compelling evidence that until the end he didn't want partition, and that he never foresaw the full price.
The one thing I know, and I was very much aware of, and he discussed it, he never really wanted to break away.
The frontier between India and Pakistan. Here, every evening, the border police on each side lower their national flags. Across the border, most Indians are Hindu. The hope many once had for a unified India of all religions has now passed into history. The final rites were performed 50 years ago this month. On August the 13th, 1947, the last Viceroy of India, Lord Louis Mountbatten, swept into Karachi for a celebratory banquet. It was hosted by Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
I got this amazing sense of his power, of the potency of the man. Here is Pakistan's King Emperor, Archbishop of Canterbury, Prime Minister, Speaker, all rolled into one formidable Qaid-i-Azam.
Qaid-i-Azam, meaning great leader, was the title Jinnah's followers had given him. Yet at this moment of his greatest triumph, he seemed strangely aloof.
There was no sense of exhilaration or of excitement. He was reflective, reserved, quiet, still.
Jinnah already knew from the huge number of refugees pouring into Karachi that Pakistan was being born at a price. But that night no one foresaw the full scale of the bloodshed to come. In British India, Muslims had lived as majorities in the northwest and northeast. These areas formed the basis for West and East Pakistan. The provinces of Bengal and Punjab had only small Muslim majorities and were to be partitioned. In Punjab, this would leave the Muslims in Pakistan and Hindus and Sikhs in India. Many were frightened of being caught on the wrong side and had already left their homes. But on the night of independence, the new boundaries hadn't yet been announced.
I think Mountbatten did really want a happy night. And there wasn't going to be a happy night if the boundary award had been announced. This was going to lead, in the Punjab at least, to widespread disturbances. Probably nobody thought that there would be an entire, virtually 100% shift of populations between the east and the west Punjab.
Across the new border, in Amritsar, Sikhs and Hindus killed all the Muslims they could find.
You can't imagine what atrocities were committed. Slaughtering people, raping women, killing children. looting of properties and things like that, you see. Oh, it was the greatest bestiality you could ever imagine, on both sides.
And yet for most of his political life, Jinnah had been anything but a Muslim nationalist. Indeed, unlike the Hindu Gandhi, he had little interest in religion. In 1915, Jinnah gave a garden party to welcome Gandhi back from South Africa. Thanking his host, Gandhi publicly singled him out as a Mohammedan. The tactless description set an uneasy tone for a relationship which would have profound consequences for the subcontinent. Jinnah resented being typecast as Muslim when his manner and dress were so westernized and modern.
He was very British in his own character. That is the funny part, you see. He was so British, it's just not true. The way he behaved, the way he lived, the way he ate, the way he stood, everything that he did was very, very British.
As a young man, Jinnah had trained as a lawyer in London. Back home, he soon became one of India's leading barristers and a prominent campaigner for self-rule. He was a member both of the Muslim League, set up by wealthy landlords to protect Muslim interests, and of the Indian National Congress, which became the leading force for Indian independence.
When Gandhi came from South Africa, my father was already an established politician.
What would they have had in common which would have led them to understand each other?
Well, I think the original thing that was in common was how to get the British out. That was the, how to get India independent.
If you read what Jinnah said and did right from 1906, when he really entered active politics, you cannot find a better explanation of the Hindus and Muslims coming together, emphasizing the commonality between them.
Jinnah came to be known as the ambassador for Hindu-Muslim unity. But, ever the lawyer, he believed freedom should be won by political negotiation. In 1920, this provoked a split with Gandhi. Like Jinnah, Gandhi had trained in London as a barrister. But he discarded his lawyer's suit for simple peasant's clothes, and he turned the elitist independence movement into a campaign of mass civil disobedience against the British. Such unconstitutional action was to Jinnah an anathema.
He was, in the very precise European sense, at that juncture, a very secular person. His politics was liberal, his politics was secular. These were the two planks he was pursuing. These were the planks on which his militant nationalism rested. And Gandhi's appeal to religion as the basis of drawing people into politics, particularly as far as the communities of Islam was concerned, because he reached out to the pan-Islamic sentiment of the 20s, Gandhi did. And Jinnah was very unhappy about this.
Isolated, Jinnah left Congress. After his final speech rejecting Gandhi's new tactics, he was booed off the stage. His career with Congress was dashed, and so too was his personal happiness. In 1929, his young wife died. She was not yet 30. Jinnah decided to leave India. He set sail for England, where he would live for the next 5 years with his sister and daughter. Nothing could have seemed more improbable than that in just a few years, Jinnah would found a nation.